For years and years now, Carmelo Anthony has said that he would absolutely not waive his no-trade clause from the New York Knicks. He was acquired in 2012 from the Denver Nuggets. Does anybody even remember when Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony played with one another in the Mile High City? It was weird because now we could have 3 ball-dominant players on one team. This was all sparked by his former teammate in Denver, Nene, who Instagrammed this. It was then deleted, of course, but here was his caption before being deleted. Wow, he will look great in this uniform, and I can't wait to get back on an old team together like in Denver. Did you guys remember? YouTube. I have no idea how the fuck you end a sentence with just YouTube. How's your day going? YouTube. It's just weird. So he deleted that caption. He deleted the entire photo, rather. But the question is that I have for all of you, was he creating a stir on purpose by posting this and in essence telling us something that we didn't know already? That Carmelo Anthony is bound to join the Houston Rockets. Do you believe it's a good idea for him to join the Houston Rockets? There are 2 other parts to this. The first is him and Mike D'Antoni, when Carmelo came over to the Knicks and D'Antoni joined the Knicks, they butted heads completely. Carmelo is a ball-dominant player, as we do know. He's a dribble, take the air out of the basketball, one-on-one, and then try to score sort of player. He's improved his low post game here and there, but his defense has always been suspect. Here is what Mike D'Antoni stated via ESPN and the New York Post a few years ago. Quote, Anthony, Carmelo, said the team needed to choose between him and D'Antoni. So Mike D'Antoni just went in and flat out quit. Considering that one person got another fired and put them out of a job, even if they were paid upon resigning, getting fired, what have you, that's a tough one to swallow, man. That's a tough one for anybody if you're put in Mike D'Antoni's shoes to say, yeah, I want this guy on my team who threw me under the bus and led to my unemployment. Now, I know he also coached the Phoenix Suns. I know that, he also coached the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Lakers, and that's totally fine. But if you were Mike D'Antoni, would you really forgive a guy like Carmelo Anthony for getting you completely out of town when you wouldn't adjust to your own head coach's style, which was to not only embrace, but allow the Linsanity movement and Jeremy Lin himself to grow as a basketball player? Carmelo Anthony limited and stunted the growth of Jeremy Lin. In New York, that is, of course, and not with the Nets, with the Knicks. There's another part to this, and I went over, and this is fun to do, but I went into the ESPN trade machine, and here are both of those. There are 2 trades that work. Carmelo Anthony for Ryan Anderson and Trevor Ariza, or Carmelo Anthony for Ryan Anderson and Eric Gordon. The problem is, who the hell do the Knicks want if they're giving up Carmelo Anthony for those guys? The only asset on the Houston Rockets that they would potentially want, because he has potential, is Clint Capella. And through many media reports, he is untouchable. So now they need to bring in a 3rd team. Who exactly that 3rd team is, your guess is as good as mine. If you have a thought, leave it in the comments section. The last part to this is that now, potentially, you will have Chris Paul, you'll have James Harden, you'll have Carmelo Anthony all on one team. If they were to trade, not Ryan Anderson because he's okay to trade, but if they were to trade a Trevor Ariza or an Eric Gordon, mainly Trevor Ariza, you're giving up that small forward who in small ball form can play power forward and cannot mask Carmelo Anthony's deficiencies defensively. I've said this previously and I'll say it again, and I will pound it into your heads until you guys get it and until other people get it who haven't seen it yet. Carmelo Anthony, according to many scouts, just doesn't show effort. I know that he's getting older and he's turning into more and more and more into a one-way player, if that's even possible. My only pick for Carmelo Anthony is going to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are way over the luxury tax at this moment, because LeBron James, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, who I know did not have a good finals, they are the only players that can mask Carmelo Anthony defensively. Carmelo needs to be that guy, sort of like Stephen Curry, who goes and guards a guy like Kyle Korver in the NBA playoffs. Because what the playoffs do is the playoffs slow down the momentum and the tempo of the game, and they try to feed into as many deficiencies as you will allow them. Who's to say that Carmelo Anthony can't get into foul trouble if he's guarding a far superior offensive player on the defensive end and they just isolate him? I just don't see it. I like what Houston's doing. I like what Daryl Morey's doing, who, by the way, is like a cat who has 9 freaking lives, because we thought that he was going to get fired 2 years ago and then maybe a year ago, and now they made the playoffs and he's okay and he's safe. The NBA is weird. But where should Carmelo Anthony go? Should he go to Houston, who's that third team? Should he just try to end up in Cleveland, which is a stretch? Or should he try to go to another team? And if so, what is that team? Get at me on Twitter, at Rick Strom, on Instagram, at Ricky Strom, in the comments section, because you've already seen my track record. We'll absolutely interact with every comment you have. And please do me a favor, subscribe to TYT Sports.